Y News with Angelo Castro III and Darlene Basingan.
Good evening. The Department of National Defense has called on Malacañang for replenishment of the Marawi Fund. Abby Santa Ana Ines tells us why.
The fund of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, for this year is already near depletion. This was a revelation by Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana himself. The Department of National Defense, or DND, says the remaining fund of the military will not last until the next 2 months of the year due to its continuous spending for the ongoing battle in Marawi City. Lorenzana notes the AFP has already spent 3.5 billion pesos for the battle of government troops against Maute terrorist group. The said amount was used for the purchase of ammunition, bombs, fuel, food, and medicines for the soldiers fighting in the war-torn city.
Habang lumalapit tayo sa katapusan ng taon na to, kukulangin na kami. So we'll have to ask parang replenishment lang nagastos na.
The defense chief explains the 3.5 billion peso amount was taken from AFP's fund supposedly allotted for the purchase of the additional military equipment. This prompted the DND to request Malacañang to replace the amount the military has spent for the war in Marawi City in order to prevent it from suffering budget exhaustion.
Okay naman kay DBM. Naghanap lang sila ng pera kung saan nakukunin.
Meanwhile, Defense Chief Lorenzana assures of the properly using the funds of the AFP to avoid a repeat of the issue in the so-called pabaon or send-off money for retiring military officials.
No, sorry na lang sila, wala silang pabaon ngayon. Wala na. Tagtigil na yon. That is a very bad practice actually. Kasi nadideprive yung ating organization sa yung trupa. Imbes na may magamit sila, nakukuha ng isang tao lang. Pabaon nila ng 50 million pesos. Malaking bagay yun. It could provide a lot of benefits for our soldiers.
Abby Santa Ines, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana says more than 50 billion pesos is needed to fund the rehabilitation of Marawi City. Here's why from Rosalicos.
Marawi City suffers massive devastation because of more than 4 months of battle between government troops and mounted terrorists. Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana says 50 billion pesos is not enough to restore and rehabilitate the properties and other structures damaged by the war.
But when we went there last week with the President, early this week, I think 50 billion is not enough. Talagang grabe yung destruction. When you see that, when the fighting stops and I will bring you there, you will see how damaged the area is.
Meanwhile, 6 countries promised to extend financial assistance for the rehabilitation of Marawi City. This include Australia, United States of America, Japan, Thailand, China, and European Union. For now, the Post-Conflict Assessment Group has been gathering information on the extent of the damage in areas already cleared by military in Marawi City. Secretary Lorenzana said it may take 2 weeks to assess the total amount of damage in properties and livelihood in the city. However, the official refused to give deadline for the Marawi crisis to end, but he is positive that the government will be able to finally liberate the city from the terrorists.
Kunti na lang yung nagtitira rito. This is just 1.5 barangay wide. The area is just 1.5 barangay. That's why I've been told by our ground commanders that malapit na raw. You cannot just say when because they are afraid to set a deadline.
Rosa Licos, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacañang.
More than 2,000 Moro leaders and Marawi City evacuees held a meeting at the Plaza Salamanca in Manila earlier today. They have expressed opposition over what they claim as the United States intervention in the Philippine government's counter-terrorism attacks in Marawi City.
Yung nangyayari sa Marawi ay isang war on terror na kampanya ng US na ini-implement nito ni Presidente Duterte. Ang totoo pong terorista ay ang imperialistang Estados Unidos at ang gobyerno ni Duterte. Sila po yung nambomba sa aming komunidad na siyang dahilan ng pagbakwit ng almost 500,000 na mga Maranao sa Marawi.
They also appealed to the Duterte administration to stop accepting military aid from the U.S., claiming the assistance is part of America's efforts to take control of Moro areas across the country. The protesters, however, were not able to reach the U.S. Embassy building as they were blocked by policemen.
The Defense Department is confident that communist groups will not succeed in launching a massive demonstration. Rosa Nicos will tell us why.
I don't think the possibility that the left will be able to conduct a massive demonstration across the country, disrupting the civil government or the lives of the people, hindi naman siguro mangyayari yun.
The Secretary of the Defense Department is confident that the communist groups have no ability to launch massive protests nationwide and sow violence. This is in line with President Rodrigo Duterte's anticipation that massive protests that will be possibly held by various groups on September 21 as the 45th anniversary of martial law declaration will be commemorated. Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana said the President mentioned it to him and the President wants work in government offices and schools be suspended to avoid inconveniencing the public.
Pagka magkaroon ng massive rally sa Metro Manila at it may inconvenience the public, para hindi ma-inconvenience sabi na, hindi ko lang sila papasokin. I will declare wala na papasok sa mga opisina.
The President has warned of declaring martial law nationwide if the leftists will bring their armed struggle on the streets. The Chief Executive has been saying he will not stop the demonstrations on the streets as long as the militants will not destroy properties. Rosa Licos, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacañang.
The National Capital Region Police Office relieved 62 Caloocan police due to their involvement in different anomalies. The PNP also plans to subject the entire Caloocan police force to a retraining. Here's why from Aiko Miguel.
National Capital Region Police Chief Oscar Albayalde is set to relieve the whole Caloocan police force. The NCRPO chief made the announcement after another dubious incident involving some members of Caloocan Police Station 7 who allegedly barged into a house without any search warrant last night. This is also aside from the police Caloocan who were allegedly involved in the killing of Kian de los Santos, Carl Arnaiz, and Reynaldo de Guzman. Albayalde says the plan to relieve the 1,000 members of the Caloocan Police is a preemptive measure. They have to undergo 45 days retraining to avoid irregularities to happen again.
But there was a somewhat like a sudden change to have all the members of the PCP4 to report just last night and again this morning. Pero actually, sinabi na yan sa akin ng ating regional director during our conference last week. Pero ang sabi ko naman sa kanya, pwede rin yan, sir, para at least magkakaroon tayo ng immediate action with regard to the different issues in Caloocan.
As of today, 62 policemen, including 13 members of the Public Safety Battalion of the Northern Police District, are already relieved. They are mostly from Stations 7, 4, and Station 2. While under retraining, the police from the Regional Public Safety Battalion, which were used as a contingent for the action, will replace the relieved police officers. The PNP assures the public that their operation in Caloocan will not be interrupted, even if a big number of police personnel will be relieved. It can be recalled that on August 18, the Caloocan Police District has been awarded as Manila's best police station. The award was given by PNP Chief Ronald Bato de la Rosa. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The parents and siblings of Reynaldo de Guzman alias Kulot are now under the Witness Protection Program. Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre says spouses Eduardo Gabriel and Lina de Guzman voluntarily sought custody under the WPP. Yesterday, the couple filed before the DOJ a double murder complaint against PO1 Jeffrey Perez and PO1 Ricky Arquilita, who allegedly killed Carl Arnaiz, and who are also suspects in killing Kulot.
I told the parents of Kulot that they can trust the government's Witness Protection Program, or WPP. After all, WPP is the only entity empowered under Philippine laws to secure witnesses to a crime and to take care of them.
House Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez is open to returning the Commission on Human Rights original budget proposal, but on a certain condition. Grace Casin tells us why.
Sobrang kapal na mukha niya. Alam nyo, kung sinasabi na ng karamihan na hindi niya ginagampanan yung trabaho niya, hindi niya ginagawa, dapat mahiya ka na eh. Hindi mo na ginagawa yung trabaho mo, humihingi ka pa ng sweldo sa gobyerno.
These are just some of the harsh words by House Speaker Pantalon Alvarez against Commission on Human Rights or CHR Chairperson Chito Gascon. Alvarez says such rant is his way of making the CHR realize that it is no longer doing its job right.
Dadalaw sa kulungan, dinalaw si Senator De Lima. Tinanong ko, sino pang dinalaw mo doon? Wala na daw, kasi wala na siyang oras. Alam mo, kung dadalaw ka sa mga nabilanggo doon, ando doon, ang lapit-lapit naman nung selda nung iba. Bakit hindi niya man lang dinalaw at inalam yung kalagayan din ng ibang prisoners?
Despite his tough criticisms against the head of the constitutional body, the House Speaker says lawmakers still consider approving the budget allocated for the CHR on one condition.
Kung makita naman namin na maganda yung programa, bakit hindi? Total, may bycam pa naman. Pero kailangan i-justify nila yung kanilang paggagamitan ng pera.
Alvarez explains the lower chamber of Congress gives a measly 1,000 peso budget each to CHR, National Commission for Indigenous People or NICP, the Energy Regulatory Commission or ERC, to send them a message that they should do their jobs right. The House Speaker also denies allegations that Solons are using the power of purse of Congress to harass those who criticize the President.
Huwag niyong isipin na naging selective kami rito. Dahil nung unang-una, pinahold ko yung budget ng Office of the President. Pinahold ko yan. Kasi nakita ko na yung kaso nga ng ERC chairman, mahigit 1 taon na yan nakabinbin sa Office of the Executive Secretary. Nakiusap sa akin si Secretary Mijaldea na palusutin yung budget. Sabi ko, okay, with one condition. Kailangan yung resolution ilabas nyo yan in 2 weeks.
Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, Makati City.
Malacañang is still hopeful that the Congress will approve its budget proposal for all government agencies despite the controversial pushing of 1,000 peso budget for the Commission on Human Rights by the lower house. Presidential Communications Assistant Secretary Chris Ablan said the Department of Budget and Management and the Office of the President have submitted the more than 600 million pesos fund for CHR. The budget approval will also undergo various processes, thus the 1,000 pesos CHR budget is not yet final.
When the DBM and the OP submitted the budget to Congress of more than 600 million for CHR, it's there. The MOOE, the personal salaries, the projects, it's all there. So that by itself, it's in the proposed GAA, is already symbolic that the executive respects all of its branches, including its constitutional commission's budgets.
A group of human rights lawyers will issue guidelines on fund donations for the Commission on Human Rights. Roderick Mendoza tells us why.
A group of human rights lawyers called Artikulo 3 will be issuing guidelines this Monday or tomorrow for the donations to the Commission on Human Rights. The group initiated the fund drive after the lower house of Congress approved a mere 1,000 peso budget for the CHR.
We were thinking about how to help the commission. So sabi namin, di mag-fundraising na lang tayo just to show our support to the commission. Because we believe in the commission, basically because it's about human rights.
Artikulo 3 was formed last year following the surge of killings due to the government's anti-drugs campaign. It has a membership of over 100 human rights lawyers nationwide, led by former Senator Rene Sagisag. CHR has been referring cases of extrajudicial killings to them. The fund drive is an idea of former Vice President Jejomar Binay. The group is reviewing the legality of the fundraising since government agencies are prohibited from accepting donations.
Ang napag-usapan namin is that we open a special account for purposes of receiving the donations from the public. And then we will turn it over to the commission, to CHR. Tingnan muna namin how we can do it without violating any law.
People interviewed by UNTV News agree to the fund drive for CHR.
Pero 1,000, hindi kulang na kulang yun. Talagang hindi sapat yun. Okay din naman sa mga publiko rin naman ang ano nila eh. Nakakatulong din naman.
Magdodonate tayo para lang makatulong. Malaking tulong ng CHR para sa mga tao na yung walang laban. Lalo na yung mga pinagkakamalan lang.
Kung budget ng CHR yon, willing naman po kami mag-donate kasi pangkarapatang pantao naman po. Pag may dumating yung point na kailangan din ipagtanggol yung human rights, nandyan sila para ipagtanggol yung human rights natin.
Roderick Mendoza, UNTV, News and Rescue, Manila.
Starting November, malls will no longer hold holiday sales and discount fares on weekdays. Here's why from Abby Santa Ines.
The Interagency Council on Traffic or IACT and the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority or MMDA held a meeting with mall operators in Metro Manila earlier today. The meeting centered on how to address the heavy traffic near malls, especially during holiday season. Among the proposals of the IACT and the MMDA is for the mall operators to hold holiday sales only during weekends.
Totally no sales on weekdays, including Friday, effective November 1. Weekends na lang, Saturday, Sunday na lang.
Should mall operators plan to hold sales, they should coordinate first with the MMDA 1 month before the scheduled sale, in order for the agency to prepare a traffic plan. Mall operators have agreed with the said proposal.
Perkins, so I'm from SM Supermalls. We always have viewed the MMDA as a stalwart partner of the SM Supermalls. We're here, at the end of the day, we view these measures as something that will alleviate traffic and will only help the public. So we're here to support.
The MMDA also urges them to avoid doing deliveries during rush hour and to set their mall hours from 11 in the morning to 11 in the evening, and to deploy traffic enforcers around the vicinity of their establishments. IACT also urges mall operators to help in their campaign against PUV drivers operating colorum vehicles. IACT and the MMDA order mall operators to submit their transport terminal plans to ensure the non-entry to their terminals of colorum vehicles and to ensure the safety of the public.
Terminal sa mall, it's for the public din and convenience. Ang iniisip natin lagi rito yung conveniente sa publiko. Sa ma-address natin yung needs din ng malls.
Abby Santa Ines, UNTV News and Rescue, Makati City.
The Department of Transportation or DOTR and the companies operating the 13 expressways in Luzon earlier signed a memorandum of agreement to unify toll collection systems. The move aims to ease travel of motorists by avoiding multiple queues and payments. Upon implementation, motorists can use their electronic tags from one toll road operator to another. When paying in cash, motorists will get a ticket once at entry and pay once at exit.
Na kung dadaanan mo yung 13 toll gates, dapat lang isang sistema ang gagamitin. Pagkat kung paiba-iba yung sistema, yung inahagan mo na magdaan sa NLEX, sa SCTEX o sa mga highway na mapabilis, hindi ho ba babagal yan dahil sa samot-saring dadaanan ng toll gates and toll booths? Hindi ho ba ganun nun?
The interoperability for electronic toll collection shall be implemented immediately after the technical working group have finalized the details, while cash payment collection will be implemented after 6 months.
Next on Y News. Search and retrieval operations continue for 4 missing miners in Laguna due to the onslaught of tropical depression Maring.
Typhoons Talim and Doksuri batter southern China and are set to hit Vietnam and Japan next.
Y News will be right back. The Commission on Elections continues its preparations for the barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections and sets to implement the election gun ban on September 23, despite the pending bills that seek its postponement. Aiko Miguel tells us why.
Effective September 23, Luzon and Visayas regions will be under the COMELEC gun ban following the poll body's preparations for the October 23 barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections. Based on COMELEC Resolution number 10197, which the poll body released yesterday, only those who applied for exemptions will be permitted to carry firearms.
Lahat ng authority na na-issue na sa iyo beforehand, permit to carry, a mission order, a letter order, whatever it's called, kahit na meron kang subsisting authority to transport and carry firearms outside of your home, outside of your place of business, that will be considered suspended for the pendency of the gun ban period.
The COMELEC will open the application for gun ban exemption on September 21. Those in the executive position, from the President to the security personnel for foreign diplomats, are automatically exempted. Even law enforcement agents of the National Bureau of Investigation, Philippine Coast Guard, and the Philippine National Police who are on official duty and with a mission order in complete uniform and with a valid ID will not be questioned. According to the COMELEC Committee on the Ban on Firearms and Security Personnel, who is the approving body of the gun ban exemption, infraction on this COMELEC rule is not a joking matter as it is a prime election violation.
Carries with it a penalty of imprisonment. Aside from that, a perpetual disqualification to hold public office. So it's hindi po ito madaling parusa. So please, to all your friends na gun enthusiasts, coordinate with the PNP, especially with the Commission on Elections.
Meanwhile, as both houses of Congress are yet to come up with their final decision on the proposed bill that seek to postpone the October polls, COMELEC goes on with its preparations for the coming election.
This information is necessary, especially since malapit na po ang halalan.
Teachers will start training as volunteer election board of canvassers, while the poll body has already printed around 13 million ballots so far. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The camp of former Bureau of Customs Commissioner Nicanor plans to file an ethics complaint against Senator Panfilo Lacson. Joan tells us why.
The lawyer, former Bureau of Customs or BOC Commissioner Nicanor is readying an ethics complaint against Senator Panfilo Lacson, which they plan to file on Monday. The ethics complaint stemmed from the corruption accusation of Lacson against Ferelden. Ferelden's legal counsel says they are now coordinating with the Office of the Senate Sergeant-at-Arms to allow the former customs chief to go out of the detention facility to personally file his complaint.
We will demand through our ethics complaint for Senator Lacson to make good on his categorical declarations of Captain Ferelden's guilt. If you have evidence, ayaw mong ilabas, the Ethics Committee will compel you.
Attorney Jose Dino Jr. also notes that of the 8 Senate Blue Ribbon Committee hearings on the Shabu shipment, the senators did not even present a witness providing that Ferelden received grease money. Aside from Lacson, Ferelden also plans to file an ethics complaint against Senator Antonio Trillanes IV over his accusations that the former Marine captain was involved in the smuggling of Shabu from China. In a statement, Lacson says anyone has the right to file a complaint against an incumbent senator. However, the senator notes Ferelden will just waste his time in filing the complaint. Senator Trillanes, meanwhile, says the former BOC chief seems to always have a gimmick. Trillanes has once again insisted that Ferelden has no other choice but to face and answer the accusations against him in connection with a 6.4 billion peso Shabu shipment. Juan, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
The Office of Supreme Court Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno has already received the copy of the impeachment complaint filed against her before the House of Representatives. The chief magistrate has 10 days upon receipt to respond to the accusations in the complaint. The Chief Justice spokesman, Attorney Carlo Cruz, says Sereno will explain why the impeachment rap should be dismissed. Cruz notes Sereno has no intention to resign from her position. He also assures the public of the Chief Magistrate's continuous performance of her duties and pushing for reforms in the judiciary.
Presiding Justice Amparo Cabutahetang announces that she will not inhibit from handling the plunder and graft cases of former Senator Juan, Ponce, and Enriles. The Sandigan Bayan 3rd Division resolution says the court denies the motion for inhibition filed by the camp of Enriles. In the said resolution, Enriles camps, or the argument of Enriles camps that Tang's decision will affect his case, as she is an appointee of former President Benigno Aquino III, has no solid basis. With this, Tang remains as the one to handle Enriles' plunder case that is on pre-trial stage in the 3rd Division of Sandigan Bayan. Former Senator Jingo Estrada may step out of the PNP Custodial Center anytime tomorrow. Juan will tell us why.
It is possible that former Senator Jingo Estrada will finally be set free from the PNP Custodial Center anytime tomorrow. This after the Special Division of 5 Justices of the Sandigan Bayan 5th Division approved his petition to post bail. This is in connection with Estrada's 183 million peso plunder case relative to the pork barrel scam. Among those who favored the petition were Justice Maria Teresa Mendoza Arcega, Justice Reynaldo Cruz, and Justice Lorifel Pahimna. The bail was set at 1 million pesos for the plunder case and 330,000 for the 11 counts of graft. Estrada's lawyer says they have already gotten hold of the resolution, but they were not able to make it to the court on time to post the bail and decided to settle the amount tomorrow. It can be recalled that Senator Estrada had earlier filed an omnibus motion to post bail, but said motion was denied by the court. In August 2015, the anti-graft court allowed former Senator Juan Ponce Enriles to post bail for humanitarian reason. Once Estrada came finally posted a bail, former Senator Ramon Bong Revilla will be the only senator implicated in the PDAC scam who will be left at the custodial center. With this development, Sandigan Bayan Presiding Justice Amparo Cabutahetang expresses concern that Estrada's temporary freedom will have a negative effect on other PDAP cases filed in the graft court. Juan, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The Trade Union Congress of the Philippines, or TUCP, is not satisfied with the 21 peso increase in wages granted to workers in Metro Manila. The recently approved wage hike, the minimum wage rate in Metro Manila, would increase to 512 pesos. However, the labor group argues that the purchasing power of the new minimum wage rate slides to just 369 pesos only due to the rise in inflation or prices of goods and services.
Ang standard ay ng isang pamilya, ang standard ng gobyerno ay binubuo ng 5 katao, isang mag-asawa at 3 anak. Ang kinakailangan na mabuhay ng 5 katao sa isang araw ay nasa 1,200 pesos. Para mabuhay siya ng marangal, meron siyang pambili ng pagkain, meron siyang savings, meron siyang pambili ng gamot, at meron siyang pambayad ng mga tuition.
TUCP is requesting for a 184 peso hike in minimum wage. Minimum wage earners in Metro Manila will have their wage increase next month, while labor groups can still file another salary hike petition in October of 2018. The local government of Zamboanga City opposes the national government's plan to hold in the city the upcoming peace forum on the Bangsamoro peace process on Sunday. Grace Casin will tell us why.
Local Government Unit or LGU of Zamboanga City sent a letter to President Advisor on the Peace Process, Secretary Jesus Dureza, yesterday. This is to inform Dureza about the LGU's opposition to allow the national government to conduct in the city the upcoming Peace Forum on Bangsamoro Peace Process on Sunday, September 17. Zamboanga City officials explains that aside from the fact that residents have not yet forgotten the 2013 Zamboanga siege, the presence of members of the Moro National Liberation Front or MNLF in the area might cause fear among them.
We are reiterating our position ever since that considering that the incident, the Zamboanga siege, is still fresh from the minds and hearts of the city residents. We are asking the OPAP to consider the sentiments of the people.
Just last Saturday, Zamboangueños marked the 40th year anniversary of the Zamboanga siege. This is why Zamboanga City officials asked the OPAP to consider their plan.
Yeah, definitely. The city government of Zamboanga and the people is in support of the peace process. But considering the fact that the incidents in the city of Zamboanga, although we support, but our request it be held somewhere else.
The city government is still waiting for a response from the office of Secretary Dureza. Zamboanga LG also calls on its residents to stay calm but remain vigilant in the event OPAP decides to still conduct the meeting in the city. Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Meanwhile, authorities continue to search for the four miners who went missing after they were swept away by the raging water in a river in Laguna during the onslaught of Typhoon Maring. Rajel Adora tells us why.
Rescuers still failed to find today the four miners who were among those swept away by the strong water from the San Cristobal River last Tuesday during the onslaught of Tropical Depression Maring. Calamba City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office has also yet to receive developments from Sea Patrol personnel helping in the search for the missing miners. The search and retrieval operation of authorities is focused on the Lake Laguna, where Eden Lacdao, one of the missing persons, was found. Rescuers also conducted the search in the Talim Island, which is covered by Rizal, after receiving reports that a dead body of child was found there yesterday.
Kaso, nagkataon po na hindi po nakuha ng mga kabataang mangingisda kasi natatakot daw po sila. Pumunta po sa kapitan nila, patawag ng pulis. Pagbalik naman po nila, wala na daw po yung batang nakitang palutang-lutang. Ibig sabihin, nadala natin po ng alon.
The rescuers vow that they will not stop in searching until they find the missing members of the Monge and Mendoza families.
Malawak po kasi itong lawa ng Laguna, kaya mahirap din po maghanap ng ano. Sana nga po may awa ang Diyos, makita na namin.
It was at the early dawn of Tuesday when the raging waters from the San Cristobal River swept away several members of the Monge and Mendoza families. Rajel Adora, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
A province in South China launches a second-level emergency response for twin typhoons. Dulce Alarcon tells us why.
Typhoons Talim and Uksuri, the 18th and 19th so far this year, have brought rainstorm to cities in South China and East China on Thursday. Typhoon Uksuri uprooted trees and turned the sea tide up to 4 to 5 meters off the coast of the city of Sansha in South China's island province of Hainan. Typhoon Tali, meanwhile, raised the tide more than 10 meters high in Yuhuan, East China's Zhejiang province. The city has launched an emergency response and evacuated people in areas likely to be affected before the arrival of the typhoon. Residents living in the coastal area were relocated to safer places.
全部转移到集委会再来安置，工委也就是说给人民配备了一些应急的生活物资。
China's National Meteorological Center predicted that Typhoon Talim will move northward into waters near the coast of Zhejiang province tonight, before turning northeastward and make landfall in the western coast area of Kyushu, Japan, on Saturday night or early Sunday morning. Typhoon Uksuri, meanwhile, has intensified to a strong tropical storm early Thursday morning and is expected past the province of Hainan and land in northern Vietnam tonight. Dulce Alarcon, UNTV News and Rescue, Anhui, China.
Coming up on Y News. The international community condemns the recent missile launch by North Korea and warns of diplomatic and economic isolation of the communist country.
And 4 new teams in UNTV Cup Season 6 set to hit the hard court in Sunday's first elimination round.
More from Y News after this break. The international community strongly condemns the recent missile launch by North Korea as Prime Minister Shinzo Abe calls on every ally to press hard against the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. From Tokyo, Japan, let's hear why from Ryuji Sasaki live. Yes, Ryuji, go ahead.
Yes, Darlene. Yes, Darlene. As it is in the headlines, at 7 in the morning here in Japan, North Korea's missile flew over Japan, landing in the Pacific about 2,000 kilometers east of Hokkaido, which alarmed not only the people of Japan, but also those from other countries. In response to the situation, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe calls on international community to firmly impose the United Nations sanctions on North Korea. This morning, Japanese Defense Minister Itsunori Onodera and U.S. counterpart Jim Mattis agreed to apply tangible pressure on North Korea.
また、北朝鮮に対して目に見える形で圧力をかけつけていくことが大変重要だということ、今後、日米そして日米韓がさらに連携を強めて、しっかりとした対応をするということ、このことを確認いたしました。
In neighboring South Korea, President Moon Jae-in presided over a National Security Council meeting today where he said the North's action will only result in further diplomatic and economic isolation of North Korea. Meanwhile, Australia's Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull agreed that tightening economic sanctions on North Korea is crucial. Turnbull adds that if North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un were to attack the United States or one of its allies, it will be an apparent suicide.
Nobody wants to see a war on the Korean Peninsula. If Kim Jong-un were to start a war to attack the United States or one of its allies, he would be signing a suicide note. That would be the end for his government, and thousands of people would die. It would be a catastrophe, and that is why it's vitally important to maintain this economic pressure on North Korea. Now,
Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshihide Suga added that at this point, there is no evidence of fragments of missile landing on Japanese territories and no information yet of any damage to shipping or airlines near the area of Hokkaido. Darlene, this afternoon we coordinated with the Philippine Embassy in Tokyo, and embassy officials advised Filipinos here to stay calm and always monitor, follow whatever the instruction of the Japanese government. The embassy further assures that contingency plans are in place in case the situation worsens. And that's the latest here in Tokyo, Japan. Back to you.
Thank you for that report, Ryuji Sasaki, reporting live from Tokyo, Japan.
The 4U teams debuting on the UNTV Cup hard court will be tested on Sunday. Victor Cosare will tell us why.
An action-packed triple header awaits the UNTV Cup crowd this Sunday, September 17 at the Pasig City Sports Center. This as the 4 new teams of the UNTV Cup gets into the hard court battle. In the first game of the triple header, the Department of Agriculture Food Masters faces the PIDEA Drug Busters. The Food Masters will be led by head coach Zaldi Realubit and assistant coach Rodney Santos, who are both former pro basketball players. They will be matched by PIDEA head coach Benjamin Jose and assistant coach Felix Armando. In the second game, the COA Enablers will face the DOH Health Achievers. The Commission and Audits team will be led by PBA legend Freddy Hubalde, while the DOH will be coached by Joshua Villapando. And in the third game, season team NHA Builders will aim to demolish season 5 runner-up team Malacañang PSC Camao. Assistant coach Rafi Gonzalez's side had been prepping up since August.
Talagang pinag-aandaan namin ito season 6. Alam naman natin na may mga bagong teams na
humalingin at medyo mabibigat na yung ibang teams. Sana po, supportahan niyo po ulit ang Malacañang PSC. Kung ano po yung binigay namin last year, mas hihigitan pa po namin. Pagpapaguran po talaga namin.
Meanwhile, NHA head coach Beneth Palad says they are prepared for the battles ahead now that their roster is complete.
Di ba ang team ko, kulang kami sa height, kulang kami sa malaki. So ngayon medyo nakompleto ko na, nagkaroon ako ng malaking dalawa. So makakalaban na ako, makakasabay na ako sa mga kalaban ko.
The triple header will start at 2 p.m. Victor Cosare, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
And of course, before we end the night, greet everyone a happy weekend.
Yes, happy weekend.
And come back soon, Will.
Yes.
Those are the reasons behind the news. September 15, 2017. I'm Angelo Castro III.
Reasons we delivered to you as they unfold. I'm Darlene Basinan.
Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Thank you for watching Y News.